Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm going out to look at here it is right here, Dodge Ram 1500. It's towed in, running hot, overheating. Running hot, overheating. The hood is up. Let's see. Ooh, you can smell it. You can smell it. Hey, 3.6, y'all see that? 3.6 Pentastar, baby. Now, this is not a 2018 or 2020. This is one of the low years of 1500, which makes this a Generation 2 Pentastar engine. Look at all this room, guys. See, this is one thing you can appreciate Dodge for. Now, that could go both ways, because look at all. If you got this much room, mechanics love this. Some guys, I've seen a guy just climb in there and work on a 5.7 Hemi. But that could go both ways, guys. With this much room, you assume manufacturers could have added at least 2 more cylinders. Let's just say if this had been a V8, okay, that probably would have came out this far, which means you have even more room. So that tells me, guys, a V10 engine could easily fit in here. All right, but yes, mechanics love vehicles with this much room. Okay, they love it. Now, this car was towed in, but it's not cold. It actually is hot, like it's been running. And guys, I smell coolant. You can smell the coolant, so I can't say they lying about the overheating. I really need to get it in the shop and in the air. But I just chose to pop the hood. The hood was already popped, but I just chose to, whoa! Uh-oh. Yes. I think we found overheating. Or at least we found a coolant leak source. Always be careful about just seeing where something is leaking, cooling it, and automatically blame that as the problem. Sure, that's the problem of what's leaking. Now, what is the problem that caused that to leak? If it's not leaking as a result of just old age and fatigue and worn out, then yes, that's a good thing. You can simply say my radiator failed. But in some cases, radiator fail for a reason. You know, engine may be producing high pressure, and of course that pressure has to come out somewhere, and it will exit the weakest point of the cooling system. Now, radiator is not the weakest point. I wouldn't want to think. Okay, I mean, I think maybe a hose will pop before a radiator burst. So every time you see a radiator leaking, you automatically assume it's just failed because the seams fell through the seams. You can see all this cooling right here. So, but I said that to say this. There's a starting point to anything. So you can't even test the remainder of the cooling system without fixing this first. Okay, just say for instance, I'm a big advocate of pressurizing the cooling system. It don't matter even if I already know it's leaking from here. When I get ready to pressurize this, all the leak gonna come out of the radiator, because that's where it's already leaking at, and that's the weakest point. So you're not gonna be testing any of this. You're not gonna be testing the heater core, the intakes. You're not testing the hoses, because the weakest point in the cooling system at this point is the radiator because of that leak. So guys, you merely have to start there. So I'm gonna have to write the estimate up as basically replace the radiator and retest. Y'all see what I'm saying? Y'all feel where I'm coming from? You have to replace that and then do a retest. So after I say they approve the radiator and I put it in, I pressurize the system. If I don't lose pressure, I can assume that yes, that was the reason. That was the failure. Okay, but then of course I would merely drive the car and see if there is excessive coolant pressure or anything. Test the complete cooling system. All right, so guys, I'm gonna drive in the shop. This car I'm not sure where I was towed in. I guess they didn't want to overheat it in. So I'm gonna drive this in the shop, and we're gonna check this thing over the proper way, as in the shop. Customers hate when you diagnosing their cars outside, so I'm gonna do the honors of taking it inside. Let's get inside and find out what's going on. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to a quick ad break. When I get back, we're gonna be diagnosing this car. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Got my parts. The thermostat, coolant, brand new radiator. On top of that, there's a Mopar radiator. So, whoopee. Yes, I always brag on quality part. Mopar quality parts. Alright guys, this don't look that difficult. So, of course the fan has to come off. Of course, remove a couple of panels. Let's see, this just pops on and off with clips. So once you get stuff like this out the way, look at that. Radiator right there in your face. Not that job, not that hard at all. A couple of bolts holding it down. Once you get the fan out the way, the radiator hoses, of course, has to come off because you're replacing it. Unbolt the condenser from the radiator. And whoop, voila. So guys, I'm gonna record as much as I could, but this looks so freaking easy. I don't even want to waste y'all time. But some of y'all like to see this stuff, so I would try my best to get you some footage. All right. So guys, let me go grab some gloves and let's get to it, man. Let's get to cracking. All right, now guys, let's remove the radiator holding bolts. All right, now let's just tilt the radiator forward, okay? Because now we'll have to disconnect the condenser off of the radiator. Okay, it's held on by a bracket right here and a bracket right here. Alright guys, we're ready to raise the radiator up out of the car. Guys, be careful, look around, make sure you're not pinging on nothing. Make sure, be aware of your surroundings, okay? Make sure this condenser is not still bolted up. If it is, unhook whatever it is you need to unhook. And let's get this radiator out. Alright guys, as you can see, I have the radiator off. And as you can see, it was likely leaking. The plastic part of the radiators always tend to leak. Now, I've seen guys try to repair this with JB Well. Man, I've never had any success trying to repair the radiator that's leaking from the plastic part to the seams. Okay, I always typically end up replacing them, and that is what I'm doing. All right, so I'm gonna end up replacing them. Here's my new radiator, guys. I got the new radiator right here. Got like my little step tool. This is a Dodge truck, so it's kind of high to get in here and stand over and work. But I have to do what I got to do. Now, I'm not going to film reinstalling it because that's just merely a reversal of the removal process. Now, let me point something out to y'all real quick. Okay, in the middle of doing the thermostat, I noticed that the water pump was leaking. Okay, so I went back up there and had to resell some more work. Sometimes you have to do this, guys. I don't like it, but sometimes you have to call the customer back and tell them while you was doing what you was doing, you notice other problems. Okay, so I have a brand new water pump here I'm about to install. All right, now I won't bother making a complete video out of that because it's self-explanatory, fairly easy. Remove the bolts and the hoses, and it's just a bunch of 10 millimeters holding it on, and it just simply comes out. Okay, so guys, I'm doing a radiator, water pump, thermostat, and I'm gonna flush the cooling system and go back in with new coolant. All right. Alright guys, let me give you this real quick tip, guys. Doing a water pump, y'all see this is my new water pump, this is my old water pump. For every long hole you take out of the water pump, there is a seal that should be attached to it. Like this black seal right here. Okay, if you don't see it, if it don't come out with the bolt, it's likely still stuck in the water pump, such as this. Alright, so all you do is just take a take the same bolt and just fish that seal out of there. All right. Just go from behind it. Just push up. All right, and here it is, guys. So you just want to put that back on the boat. It's obviously there for a reason. So when you go back in with the new water pump, that space in between the boat and the water pump housing will be eliminated. All right, just want to throw that tip out there real quick. Also, guys, just so you know, the new water pump do not come with a gasket. All right, so I've looked all over this box. There's no gasket hiding under the box or anything like that. So you will need, yes, you will need a gasket. You will need to get a gasket separately. Okay, it does not come with the new OEM water pump. I don't know how the aftermarket will working, but I refuse to go back on with this water pump with the same seal. Okay, I have to have a new seal, and they got me one on the way. All right, so let's get with it.